All right. All right. All right.
Bad guest!
I didn't even introduce you yet. Well, as you heard from the sudden outburst of energy, I and my cohorts here are the bad cast. Yay. My name, as always, Yellow Ice or Isaiah. With me is Graham and Misbah. Say hi, you two.
Hello,
Hello.
comrade.
Actually, I forgot. I'm not using my actual mic. I'm using my external mic. So give me 1 second.
Graham
Technical
is throwing.
difficulties already.
Graham is throwing.
Bro, you're actually excelling right now. While
I'm
he's
actually
doing
gonna
that,
report you.
we're gonna introduce our guest today. He is the one and only secretary of the anime club, and a pretty good gotcha theory crafter, if I do say so myself.
He's also
Say
got a six
hello.
pack.
And a six pack and a afro.
Yeah.
I don't
Also,
know.
ladies, I'm pretty sure he's single.
Oh,
Okay.
say hello to Kalel
Hello.
or
howdy,
Camus.
folks. I'd like to point out before this starts, I don't actually have a six pack, and yes, I am and also am the secretary
Look,
of the
you
anime.
didn't have to admit that. Nobody would know until they checked, okay?
Okay, well, yeah, but I thought we were going for like accuracy here. That was my impression.
Nah.
You know what I think when I think of Kalel? That saucy Facebook photo.
Oh.
I have had a six pack at multiple points in time in the past. I believe that was one.
Yes, exactly. All right, let's just jump right into the topics today. We are going to be talking. I'm going to be talking about some like specific video game things. Those are going to be part of my topics. I'm going to be talking about the Smite Avatar Battle Pass. I'm going to be doing a top 5 visual novels for new people type list. We're going to be talking about Skullgirls in the fighting game community in relation to the anime community, and we're going to be talking about Helltaker. So stay tuned for that. Isaiah, what are you going to be talking about?
As it says, I'm talking about the end of the Haikyuu manga sad phase.
Ooh, exciting. All right, what you got for us, Kalel?
I kind of like to talk about the Promised Neverland manga and how it changed. The overall premise, what the appeal was, seemed to change for me, and so I'd kind of like to discuss that.
I see. Interesting. And Graham, what you got for us?
Graham.
I'm gonna be talking about the first episode of Uzaki-chan because
Exciting.
that's still
All right.
So we have a special guest topic today for our special guest, who is Kalel, who is our secretary, and he is an avid gacha games player. So we would like to ask, what got you into gacha games, and why do you like them so much?
What got me into gacha games? Actually, this is a really interesting story.
Okay.
So I got a smartphone around like freshman year in high school, right?
Mhm.
And I got all like the basic, like the classic games like Dragon Veil and Jetpack Joyride.
Oh, classic.
Jetpack Joyride.
The games.
Subway servers.
Dude, my Dragonville city was so good.
And then around, I want to say either a year to 6 months after I'd gotten the game, I'd also started getting into like anime, and so I was looking for games that I could tickle my fancy in terms of like
Tickle my
satisfying
fancy.
my anime want, and then I also wanted to play games during class, and so I found a game called, I think it's Brave Frontier, right?
Oh my
That was,
god,
like,
I remember
my
Brave Frontier.
My introduction to gachas, and I liked the game, and my dad and I played it together, and so I started looking for other games like that, and I can't remember exactly what I found next, but that pretty much got me into like being into gachas and like liking the system, and kind of liking the system. Love-hate relationship with the gacha gambling system itself, but I pretty much just play it because I'm used to it at this point. Also, I kind of like the nostalgic feeling I get. My dad and I can relate to it on some levels, and so it's I don't know, it's fun.
Okay, that sounds like fun.
I do have one more question. Cal, how do you feel about the animated trailer that League's releasing? Much more anime now, actually.
They're releasing more animated stuff
Yeah.
because I think they have a bigger, like Riot's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we're still a small indie company. You're fucking not, so that's a lie.
No, they are
so
small
have-
indie company.
They aren't.
They have one of the
Yes.
biggest esports scenes in like the world.
Yeah,
They are-
small indie company though, because they can't fix their UI.
Okay, that doesn't mean there is. Listen, Fate Go can't fix the UI, and Fate is not a small indie company. That is a
No, they choose not to fix it.
That's the same
Yeah,
as
the
Riot.
League chooses not to fix their shit too.
Hey, didn't they get a UI update like recently though? Didn't the launcher?
Yeah, but it's worse than the old one. So like,
Than
Oh.
this old one.
Oof.
So I'm mainly talking about the Path animated trailer, the one they released today.
yeah, I
looks
like
so
that
good.
one a lot. I think that I'd really prefer, not prefer. I think Riot makes better like 3D CG videos than they do 2D videos, and not to say their 2D videos are bad, because I genuinely like pretty much every video that Riot puts out. Unless it's a dev diary, I don't really watch those. I don't really care. I'll play the game anyway. I'm gonna be honest with you. And so I liked it a lot, and I specifically like the way that they're introducing Yon, because I didn't go into the trailer expecting a Yon reveal. It was just
Dude,
all in all, it was so fucking
Good.
Good? Question mark?
You cut off.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
yes, it was very good.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, dude.
And I
Shout out
guess
to Lilia.
Let's just jump right into the topics today, starting out with my topics. So I got the Smite's Avatar Battle Pass. So for those of you guys who do not know, Smite is a third-person MOBA that is owned by High-Res Studios.
Wow.
And they are doing a battle pass partnered up with Nickelodeon, and they're going to be putting in a bunch of skins in the game for Avatar. So it's going to be Avatar, Aang is going to be in there, Zuko is going to be in there, Korra is going to be in there. So we got some exciting stuff going on for the Avatar community, kind of related to anime, which is why I was talking about it. And then, well, I think this is a great idea on Hi-Res at this point, because Netflix is they just added Avatar really recently, so all the people who haven't seen Avatar yet are experiencing it for the first time. The fan base is growing really rapidly, so there's a great time for them to jump on that hype train and just take advantage of the growing people who are fans of the Avatar: The Last Airbender series. So for those of you guys who do play the game or who have seen things about it, one thing I would like to just say really quickly is don't get discouraged if you start playing the game and then start losing immediately, because Smite has a really garbage tier learning curve. Like, it has like no hand holding at all on it. You basically just get thrown right into it. You have to learn everything. Yeah, Smite's garbage actually. And if you get a lot of bugs, like if you get booted from matches, if you have trouble finding your friends on the friends list, don't worry, that's all part of the experience.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised.
Yep.
Yeah, this is something you should get used to. No, I'm actually being legit serious. Smite has one of the worst servers in the any competitive game ever.
Yeah,
The worst servers.
It's a miracle they're esports ready.
Dude,
It's a
their
miracle.
client is garbage actually.
A miracle it's esports ready.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it's pretty exciting. I don't know what you guys think about it. I don't know how many of you guys here are big fans of the Avatar: The Last Airbender series. I think it's kind of exciting that you have this kind of opportunity to be playing as these kinds of characters in the game. So, yeah. Any thoughts? Any comments?
I mean, I've played Smite with you a little bit, and Smite is pretty fun. I'm not a big fan of MOBAs, but I mean, I kind of did like it. It was pretty fun. I didn't play the mobile version that much. I usually just played like that one mode where you guide like the enemies into like those portals and stuff. Those were a lot of
the
fun.
arena game mode. Yeah, that's a pretty beginner friendly game mode, and I think you're right, Graham. Smite's definitely funner with friends,
Mhm.
but when you're playing alone by yourself, I don't know
I think
how that would have gone.
I think the skins for Smite are really cool, but I just feel like the anime skins don't really make much sense since Smite is a game about gods and things. I think it makes more sense for Avatar because Avatar's heavily based around like Chinese myth and stuff like that. So I think it's really cool that they put the Avatar skins in. But things like the Ruby, skins like the Ruby skins, I don't know. That's kind of sus in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. And it was kind of weird when I saw it come out, but after seeing them in game, I guess it's okay. Kind of cool, just you have the opportunity to be doing that.
Mhm.
What do you think, Kalel? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, actually. So I saw it announced for the Switch today, which is how I knew about it a little bit before the podcast here. And I played League before I played Smite. I played both of them, and I played League first, and then my friend was like, "Hey, here's Smite," and so I tried it out. And so I don't know if I remember it wrong or if it changed, but I played Wukong the first time I played Smite, and in the middle of my ult, there was a quick time event, and I was like, "All right, so fuck this game then."
No, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
You have a quick
I don't know when you were
That's
playing
so
it, but that definitely does not exist anymore.
All right. Since then, I've been like okay with Smite. My computer can't really run it very well, which I mean it's old, so I'm not that surprised. But
Yeah.
I think it's like a pretty cool concept for a game with all the gods and everything. And I'm a pretty big fan of MOBAs as long as my friends play it because everything's more fun with friends.
But yeah, anyone who's interested, I would definitely say give it a shot, but play it with some friends because Smite's not fun by yourself because you get tilted really easily.
Okay, yeah, I guess we can move on to Misbah's second topic.
Yes. Misbah's second topic.
Yes, he's.
All right, guys. My second topic is so Graham came to me back when the Steam Summer Sale was going on, and he had a friend who told me like they want to get into visual novels and stuff, right? And he asked me, you know, like Misbah, like what's your recommendation for visual novels? Because he knows like I play quite a bit of visual novels.
Mm-hmm.
So I came up with a top 5 list of visual novels for new people that are looking to get into it. Obviously, I gave him my recommendations beforehand. But for those of you guys who are interested in this kind of thing and like, hey, that looks kind of cool, like I want to get into it and stuff, right? I have a list of 5 visual novels that I think are pretty friendly for new people, and I'm pretty confident that if you play these, you can get hooked on this kind of game too. So these are ranked from 1 to 5, by the way. So in first place, I think the most like new person friendly visual novel is definitely Danganronpa. Like I think you guys.
Oh yes.
Yes, it is because I think it's a pretty good balance of interactive and like it has like your traditional visual novel elements of like text based like choices and stuff like that, but it also has a lot of interactivity and like the fact that it plays a lot like a first person shooter, quote unquote. It has like the first person kind of aspect to it, right, Isaiah? I know you're playing through it for the first time.
Mm-hmm. I
think that's a pretty good like new person friendly aspect of it.
No, you're wrong.
So
I'm sorry.
oh yes, those two. Yes. And I do think that the trials are pretty exciting for like new people, and like the character development's really good.
Yeah. Like if you're not like 5 head, it's like, oh wait, shit, what's going on? I didn't think of this.
Exactly. So I do really like the game in that regard. So I feel like Danganronpa takes my first place for the most friendly game for new people. And that's not to say like overall it's like the greatest visual novel of all time, but it's definitely really friendly for new people. And if you're looking to get into visual novels, I would heavily suggest picking up that one. The first one goes on sale pretty often. Actually, doesn't even cost that much. How much did you get it for, Isaiah?
I got it in the Steam Summer Sale for about $10, all 3.
All 3 of them for $10. That is a steal right there.
Yep, it was a steal.
Yeah. By the way,
paid for by the stream money.
Not start with the third one. All of them are kind of disjoint. The stories do kind of relate, but they're kind of disjoint.
Only the third one. Only the third one doesn't connect to 1 and 2. The 1 and 2 actually connect. 3 does not.
That's because the third one's not canon.
Yeah, the third one's not canon.
Yeah, but the first 2 don't either. Like you could play the second one and not know anything about the first one, you'd be fine. It would make you want to go back and play the first one, but you don't need to know anything about the first one to play the second one.
That is true. Yeah, it's just near the end and things they start referencing a lot of Danganronpa 1 stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah. Coming up on number 2 actually. So my personal pick for number 2 is actually Valhalla. So I don't know if you guys have ever played that kind of a game before, but it's like cyberpunk bartender action kind of dealio. You play.
I know. Yeah, I played that too.
Yeah. So Valhalla is about this bartender lady. Her name is Jill, and she's playing.
Jill.
She is the bartender at Valhalla, which is a bar in like the super futuristic city that's like takes place. What is it? They said it's like 20XX or something. It's like super far in the future, and there's like robots and like all these different kind of things. And you're a cyberpunk bartender. So you basically have to listen to people's problems when they come in. You serve them whatever drinks that you think would fit whatever mood that they're in right now. They give you some big directions, and you have to like look through your drink dictionary and everything and mix whatever you think fits them the best, and you'll get more money for that. But like honestly, like the gameplay is kind of like a side plot, if that makes sense. The main thing that you want to focus on is the actual like story that's going on, and you'll see like Jill interacting with all these other people and like helping them solve their problems, and then you'll see her like reflecting on like her own issues and stuff like that. And you'll get to learn more about Jill as a character as you move forward, and you get to learn more about her coworkers, the patrons of the bar, her boss, all this kind of stuff. So I really do think that Valhalla is one of those kinds of games that it's really easy for you to pick up. I wouldn't say it's like one of those kinds of games that like hooks you and like keeps a solid tight grip on you for the entire time, but it's definitely one of those kinds of games that you can like sit down after a long day and you can enjoy yourself playing this kind of game. And the soundtrack is a banger, by the way. I actually got a record copy of it for my birthday from one of my friends, and that thing is so good.
It's so fire.
It is so fire, honestly. Like you could just listen to the music, you'd be fine. All right, moving onwards to number 3. I am going to be talking about Katawa Shoujo. Who here has played Katawa Shoujo?
Not
I
me.
have played Kalel Shoujo.
Not me.
All right.
Wait, really?
So,
Nope.
yeah. You have?
Wow.
You have played Katawa Shoujo?
Yeah,
Kalel?
yeah. I played it in like middle school.
Did you play it with the 18+ scenes on?
Oh yeah.
Not in middle school.
And not in
All
middle
right,
school.
Good thing. All right. I was gonna say because those are kind of interesting. But Katawa Shoujo it does give you the option to turn those off. By the way, if you guys are into that kind of stuff. But Katawa Shoujo is a completely free to play visual novel, which is one of the reasons why I decided to include it as number 3 on this list because it costs nothing to play it, and it has some of the best story writing, like. And some of the best art I've ever seen in a visual novel. It's really impressive what you can get for like absolutely nothing, right?
It's even more impressive. It's even more impressive because it's created by people on 4chan, actually.
And 4chan is filled with very interesting characters. I'm sure we all have like kind of a stigma towards those kinds of people that are on that
Of
website,
course.
but they actually did a really good job with it, so I'm pretty impressed with them. But honestly, it is one of those kinds of stories that might make you cry at one point. All the girls in it are really good. It might be a little bit. So the main purpose behind Katawa Shoujo is you play as this character who goes to a school for like handicapped / disabled like people, right? And that's because you had like a heart attack when you were in high school and you have arrhythmia, so they decided to put you in a special school so that they can monitor you in case you have another heart attack again, because they don't think you're going to live for that long, right? So basically, you play as this character who, on the outside, perfectly fine guy. On the inside, obviously, he's got a heart condition. But you see him, because obviously he doesn't like it at first, right? Like you're being put in, like basically they think you're like special, right? Quote unquote. So they're like treating him like super fragilely and everything, but he doesn't want to be treated like that. So he hates his life for the first part. But as he like starts to like talk to the other people around him, he sees like, you know what, maybe my condition's not that bad. He starts to help other people with their problems, and like all the people there like have their own like set of issues that your goal is to like help them like, get through it. Each route you go down has like a different girl. There's also one ending with the guy, but it's a bad ending. Sorry.
Damn. Why is always the guy's the bad ending? Feels bad, man.
What ends up happening at the end is every single one of these is that you end up solving like one of their issues. Like one girl has like no legs. She's best girl, Emmy. Excuse me. But yeah, like you help her solve her problems, and I think it's really good story. The main highlight of the game is definitely its story writing. Like I'm really impressed by it.
So now, Misbah, a few things. So first,
Tell me
you
I'm wrong.
said that the girl with no legs was best girl, right? Okay.
That's it.
He's gonna have to reassess my friendship.
Friendship ended.
It's just an interesting point of view. But second, I know that Coffee Talk is a lot like Valhalla, and I believe it may be a little bit cheaper on Steam.
Oh, I saw that game actually recently.
I think it's quite the same. Not exactly the same. Obviously, one is more cyberpunk than the other. The other one is a lot like Valhalla, except it's more based in fantasy. So, for example, you help succubi and elves and vampires and such through their problems instead of whoever you help in Valhalla. I know there's a dog. That's about it.
There's all kinds of people in Valhalla. You got this like you got this robot that you end up helping one time. You got like this Catwoman. You got like this police officer that you help. You got this reporter that you help. All kinds of people. Right, moving forward, my pick for number 4 is actually Ace Attorney, because kind of the same line of thinking as being
Ace Attorney. Ooh.
I actually really do think Ace Attorney is like a pretty
choice.
good one. Now, Valhalla and Katawa Shoujo, I just put a little bit ahead just because I do have a little bit more inclination towards them, just because Valhalla has a better soundtrack, in my opinion, and Katawa Shoujo is just much lower barrier to entry. But if you do got the cash for it and you see it on sale, pick up Ace Attorney. You're probably not going to regret it. I would say about 99% of the people that have played the game, upon my recommendation, have enjoyed it. So,
Ace Attorney.
That one person that didn't like it.
Ace Attorney is super lit. I've played through the first 2 games and they're so good. The music is really good, the characters are really good, the situations are really good, and a lot of the cases are extremely difficult, in my opinion.
And I think you would agree with me, Graham, in saying like this is a pretty good, like it's kind of far from like the typical visual novel like formula, but this is still like it still falls within the genre, and I think it's really like beginner friendly as far as like visual novels are concerned, right?
That is true.
Yeah. And my last 2 picks. For number 5, actually, I had a tie.
Okay.
So I picked Steins Gate and Clannad for that because now hear
Both
me out
very
here.
good.
Steins Gate and Clannad,
Planet.
phenomenal visual novels. Phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
But the issue here is that they're so long that it's not really like beginner friendly.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's people who have never played a visual novel before, they don't want to sit through that much text and stuff, right? It's not exactly interactive either. So, like, I think these are really good, and you're not going to regret it if you pick it up and start playing it. But just for like people who are starting out, you want something exciting, you want something like you can get hooked on really easily. I feel like the other four are definitely better options than Steins Gate and Clannad. But Steins Gate and Clannad, if you pick it up and you read through it, you're not going to regret it, and you're probably going to end up like reading a lot more visual novels after that as well.
Yeah, both those games are played with starting out extremely slow, especially Steins Gate. Clannad's the same too, because Clannad's a 60 to 80 hour game, and it's all reading. Like those are traditional visual novels. Very little choices, all reading, some characters and stuff. But the stories in those games are incredible, and the characters are so good in that game.
Yeah,
I love both of them.
Isn't original Fate Grand Order like visual novel?
Yeah, Fate's a visual novel. Yeah,
It's also a bit more
sexual.
game.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
Yeah, that's also another reason why I didn't include it on this list. But if I
Yeah.
did have a sixth place, I would probably put Fate in there.
If I actually had to put something in your visual novel list, there's a visual novel that's actually on the PS4 and PC. It's called the Nonary Games, and it's a collection of just a bunch of visual
Yeah, I
novels.
was thinking about putting that on there, honestly.
Yeah, there's 999, and then there's Virtue's Last Reward, and then there's a third game called Zero's Escape or something, whatever. The third game's not that great, but the first two games are incredible. They are so good. Like it's all like it's kind of like what is it? Like futuristic, like time travel type stuff, which can get problematic, but it's really well done in these games, and the stories are super complex, but like it's so worth it once you play the game. If you play the game in full, like the entire story is revealed, and it's so good. I would recommend that. But that's
There are
just me.
two other visual novels I want to call these guys visual novels, but they're kind of quote unquote visual novels. And these are kind of like my personal picks. These are honorable mentions, more or less. I don't know how like new people friendly they are, but I had three visual novels that I've played that I've personally enjoyed throughout the entire thing. The first one kind of might surprise you guys. So I actually think Angels of Death is really good.
Mm-hmm.
The game version of it, because it plays more like a top-down, like how like Legend of Zelda, like the old one played, like A Link to the Past played, and like Mario and stuff played top-down and stuff, right? Or like side-scrolling, that kind of stuff. That's the kind of thing. That's kind of way that Angels of Death plays, and I do think that it's a million times better than whatever the anime had, except for in terms of like art and stuff. Obviously, they did a really good job with the art and the animation. But I do think it is worth it if you got like a couple, because honestly the game isn't long. If you got a couple hours to spare, play it, and I'm sure you won't regret it. Moving onwards, my next honorable mention is.
Oh, give me 1 second, actually. I'm just gonna tell you that I'm gonna go real fast. Just continue.
Yeah.
We seem to have a Mia.
Yeah. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was Corpse Party. I don't know how many of you guys have played Corpse Party, but I've played through the whole thing, and I played through the second game, and I honestly think it's a really, really good experience. Right? It plays the exact same way as Angels of Death does. It's a little bit longer than Angels of Death, but if you've seen the anime, you're probably gonna like the game a lot better than it, honestly. And then the last game, which is completely free to play, by the way, is called Pocket Mirror, and I'm sure none of you guys have heard about this game before. There's very few people have heard about this game before, but it's really short too. It's like 10 to 15 hours long, and the world building and setting building is very, very good in that game. In my opinion, it does not have an anime adaptation. It was made by a small indie developer. So if you got a couple hours to spell, No, not Riot. Riot's not small indie developer, not small indie company.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah. But those are my three picks. If you notice, all three of them are horror, and that's why they didn't list them on here. Because those are my three personal honorable picks. So if you got a couple hours to spare, I would suggest picking up any one of those, and I'm sure you guys won't regret it. Moving on to my next topic, because I'm going to go super fast on these now. So I'm actually going to talk about Helltaker next. I'm going to skip over Skullgirls.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to that later. So I'm going to talk about Helltaker now. So I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Helltaker, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Helltaker is a completely free-to-play, like it's like a puzzle, like top-down game, and it's all about this guy who wakes up one day, and he decides he wants to go to hell and have a demon harem.
Yeah, this is the actual story, guys.
The actual story. Yeah. So he goes to hell and he starts like courting all these like demon girls, like Lucifer, and like Cerberus and all these other different girls and stuff, right? But like, anyways, Helltaker by itself, very, very small game. I would say like couple hours at most, right?
Mhm.
What would you put it at? Like
An hour
is it
or less.
an hour, maybe like 2 hours, depending on how bad
I
you
did
are.
a speed run, and it was like an hour. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the main thing I want to talk about here is that it's kind of amazing that the Helltaker community, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's kind of amazing that the Helltaker community has grown so big, so fast. And I wanted to talk about the main thing I think what helped it grow, and that is fan art. I don't know how much fan art you guys have seen of Helltaker, but there is an ass load of like different like Helltaker fan art.
All right, so I saw the fan art first actually for Helltaker, and I didn't know what it was. So then I looked up the game, and I'm like, okay, this is what it was. And then I realized that I'm pretty sure the creator created the game so that people would make fan art of the characters. So,
Yes, this is
yeah.
exactly it. If you see like the way that he like draws the characters and stuff, it's very easy for someone else to draw it like
Mhm.
exactly how he drew it too, right?
And the characters look
And
fine.
this is and the characters are look fine exactly.
Yeah.
And I think this is like a really interesting way to like grow a community for a game, is like making a game that's intended for like people to like make fan art of, and people. It's basically free media. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like
It's
different
free real
marketing.
estate.
There's free media, there's earned media, there's that kind of stuff, right? And Helltaker definitely takes full advantage of free media, and it uses its like small fan base to advantage, because within its smaller fan base, when it was first starting out, had a bunch of artists in there. Artists made fan art of it, spread it to all their fans. Their fans then like spread it to like a bunch of other artists. Artists just kept drawing stuff for it, and then just like how it happened to Graham, he saw the art, he was interested, he looked it up, and then he decided to play the game. And then Graham, I think you've actually played the game before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So same here, actually. So I actually only started playing the game because I saw some fan art about it. I'm like, oh, this looks pretty cool. And then I found out, oh, it's free. It's like a game on Steam. It doesn't seem to be that big of a game. I can download it today and I can play it today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I did. And I think that's kind of it's a really cool idea. And I think the developer's really clever for making this kind of a game. So yeah,
Mhm.
props to him for that. But yeah, if you guys haven't already tried Helltaker, I would suggest you give it a shot. You got nothing to lose from it except for your time.
Mhm.
And honestly, I don't think you'll regret it if you do play through it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty fun. Make you frustrated at one point or another, though.
And
I know
is that,
Graham's not the greatest at puzzle games.
yeah, I'm not that great at it. I got stuck on like the 7th or 8th level, and then I'm just like, well, I forget it because it was making me really
Mitchell, have
frustrated.
you finished it yet? I thought
No, I
I
never
remember
beat
the
the last
last level.
I
Oh,
never
yeah.
beat the last
Yeah,
level.
you're struggling on that one. I finished it.
Yeah, that one's not a
Thankfully.
puzzle, that's why.
I finished it too. I was literally helping you.
I know,
Ooh.
but that's not a puzzle, bro. That's not a puzzle.
Not a
Anyways,
puzzle,
moving on to
bro.
our last topic. Skullgirls and the fighting games and the anime community.
There are like
Graham
4
has recently
topics.
started playing Skullgirls.
I know.
Right?
Yes, I did. I recently started playing Skullgirls because of the Steam Summer Sale.
Yeah. What do you think about it so far, Graham? Are you having fun with it?
I think Skullgirls is a really good game. The tutorial is really beginner friendly because it goes over every single thing in the game, like every technique, every little thing about the game. So you can get kind of good kind of fast in the game, but the game's not as easy as like something like Dragon Ball Fighters with like auto combos and things, and then you can chain those into
Auto
like, you know-
count. Ew.
Auto combos are fine, but if you use them in abundance, you can get punished. But anyway, if you mix the auto combos with actual combos, then it makes the game way easier. Skullgirls doesn't have that. It's more just like your standard like light, medium, heavy combos to like, you know, like a bunch of different things. But yeah, I really like Skullgirls. I think it's really good.
All right, that's awesome. But anyways, I want to talk about how like Skullgirls and just fighting game community in general is kind of in like this really interesting spot of like in between like the anime community and the fighting game community, right?
Yeah, we're not talking about the
Yeah, like all these-
allegations. We're talking about just this.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the all that like Twitter drama that's going on and stuff, because that's not reflective of the entire fighting game community, right? That's just a bunch of fucking dumbasses doing some dumb shit, okay? Like
Mhm.
every game had this issue. Smite had this issue, you know, like even though Smash had this issues, it does not reflect at all on the Smash community or like any games community, really. It's just a bunch of people made some really stupid decisions. You can be good at a game and be a terrible person. It doesn't change who you are. But anyways, that's just some of the things I wanted to talk about. Mainly the this cool like in between that we have of the anime community, the fighting game community. You have all these people playing Street Fighter and stuff like that aren't into anime but still like fighting games. And then you have all these people that are into anime but like to just play fighting games for fun, right? So you have like this cool like in between community that's kind of like built themselves up and made a completely separate community, completely separate from both of these other two, right?
Mhm.
That's a really cool thing, and see a lot of games like this, like Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, Dragon Ball Z Fighters, Skullgirls. They have some of them have animes and stuff, right? But they're not focused around anime. They're all focused around like their game.
Mhm.
building a community with their game, and I think that's really cool.
I
And
feel-
anyways, yeah, just to sum it up really quickly, this is cool. I think the communities are amazing. I think what they're doing is great. And I do not think that what's going on in the communities, all these allegations and cancel culture and that all kind of stuff going on, I don't think that's reflective of the community at all. And don't hate on a community just because like they have a couple of people and they're just like fucked up or something, right?
Yeah,
Like,
those
don't
are
hate the
just
Smash
some. Yeah, those are just some
Don't-
people out of the wide majority, you know.
Exactly. What is it? It's like a handful of people out of like the hundreds of millions of people that play Smash every single day. There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with those people, right? So why would you let a couple of people like determine like the stereotype for that, right?
I think it's because they're at the top of the game, you know. So it's like they kind of represent Smash, you know.
Yeah, they have like
Oh.
no one else to look at because like those are like the gods in the mountain.
Those were some of the top players, yeah. But at least those were the top players for Smash 4 and Ultimate. So
Yeah.
yeah.
At least Melee has not been touched yet.
I don't,
As
we
long as
never
you don't
know.
get the Melee, I don't care. Protect Melee at all costs.
Protect
Yeah.
Melee.
But yeah, I think that's all I got for my topics, guys. I'm sorry for talking so long.
No, it's fine.
We need
I do have one more thing for your topic, actually. So for Dragon Ball Fighters, actually, that's kind of a unique case because Dragon Ball Fighters is based from the anime
Dragon
first,
Ball.
and then yeah, and all the people that played it, at least when it first came out, were all Dragon Ball fans and fighting
Yeah.
game fans. But that one was weird because you know they played it because they liked Dragon Ball, so they bought the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like for things like Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear, those games were games first, and then they became animes. Well, not Guilty Gear, but Blaze Blue. So
Yo, I didn't know
yeah.
whether or not to put Senran Kagura on this list or not.
Is that a fight?
I don't know
That's
if
not a
it's like a-
fighting game.
That is a fighting game, bro. You can fight.
It's a
Yeah,
beat 'em up.
it's a beat 'em up. Yeah,
Beat 'em up.
yeah. So it's like
Alright, so-
what's a beat 'em up game? Like River City Girls or like what is it?
Hyrule Warriors.
I think Akiba
Yes,
Strip was a
Hyrule
beat 'em up
Warriors.
game.
Yes, or Occupus
Oh.
Strip. There we go.
Yeah.
That's beat 'em up.
Old 90s games.
Old 90s
Yeah.
games. Yes, the TMNT game.
But yeah, I think
Yes.
that's a nice note to conclude my topics on.
All right.
Moving
So
onwards, let's pass the baton over to Graham.
okay, so I didn't really have a topic for today, so we're just gonna talk about
Oh,
the first episode of Uzaki-chan. So
Alright.
Uzaki-chan is one of the seasonals for this season, and it's about a big-breasted woman. And she
Oh,
goes, yes, and she goes to college with her senpai and things, and she's
oh
just,
my.
and the senpai is just like, oh, I'm gonna have so much fun in college. He realizes that he becomes really lazy and kind of lonely, so then she's just like, oh, I'm gonna help him out. But the problem is, Uzaki is insufferable. So, Uzaki is really annoying, and that's her character trait. But she's annoying to the point where it's like, okay, you've seen Watamote, and that show is supposed to be funny because, you know, the main character's a degenerate and things, but it's a sad degenerate. It's not funny in the slightest because it's all just like really depressing things. Like Hitori Bochi does it better, or like other shows like it. But this show feels like Watamote in the case where Uzaki-chan, every time he says something that's kind of lonely, like, oh, he's gonna see a movie by himself, or oh, he's gonna do this by himself, she's just like, ha, what a loner. And I'm like, what the, that's so cruel and rude. And then she just laughs at him, and she has that stupid smug face. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hate this. And that made me really upset. And then obviously, because, you know, she's a big-breasted girl and things, there's ecchi
Oh
jokes.
my.
But there's actually not as much as I expected. There's the obvious, you know, he trips and falls and he grabs her breast, like, whatever. And then there's also one which is really weird when he's in a massage, or they're in a massage chair. So then you assume what's going to happen is the massage chair is going to make her breasts bump up and down. And it
I
does.
think it's just moaning.
Yeah, it is moaning.
I knew it.
She ends up like moaning really loudly in the store, and everyone starts to look at them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so awkward. That show feels like a 4-panel manga, but it's not. It's an official manga, like with tons of pages, tons of volumes, and I'm like, this is a gag manga. This is not like an official manga. And the first episode was all of that. It was just gag
Does it
happens.
have actual plot?
The,
Like,
the-
does it
yeah,
have
the
an
big-
actual plot?
yeah,
Or
the
is it
actual
comedy?
the actual plot
The
is she's
big-breasted woman.
yeah, the big-breasted woman is trying to help the senpai become more not introverted and lonely. That's the plot of the show. But from the first episode, it was just he would do something lonely.
Like that.
Yeah, he would do something lonely, and then the girl would be like, "Ha, you're such a loner," and that's it. Like that's every joke. Like, and I'm like, this sucks. I hate this show. Everyone said, okay, everyone said that the main character for Rent-a-Girlfriend was a degenerate. And yes, he is a degenerate. But Uzaki-chan is horrible. So much worse than the main
It's
character.
a Neanderthal.
I know,
Not a
so-
degenerate.
So much worse than the main character of Rent-a-Girlfriend. And Rent-a-Girlfriend is actually not as bad as everyone's saying. Actually, I thought it was actually okay. But that's it. It's just a rant on Uzaki-chan. That's all I have.
I think that was actually really enlightening, and I don't want to watch the show anymore because of what you just said.
No, you should definitely check it out because the animations actually are not bad. Studio Angi, the studio that we talked about last time, they made Hatage Kimono Michi, and that show actually had some really good
But am I really gonna watch the show for good animation when all I'm hearing about is just boobs and sex jokes?
Yeah,
Hopefully.
Probably not. You should check out the opening
Yeah.
though. The opening is catchy.
I'll check out the opening. Like, don't get me wrong. I want to check out the opening for Rent-a-Girlfriend too. After all, I've seen all the memes.
Oh, I
about
saw it. I saw the opening finally, and it's all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next topic is I'll pass it on to Isaiah, I guess.
Yeah, my topic, bittersweet. The end of Haikyuu. Oh, sad face,
Sad face emoji, honestly.
Yeah.
Laughing,
So,
crying.
I feel like the end of the manga, is gonna draw some, tears from the people who've been with the show since 2011, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, okay, so needless to say, there is spoilers. So, spoiler warning, all right?
Oh, you're actually
Grant,
saying a
put that in
spoiler
the video.
warning. I will. Wow.
So, spoiler warning. So in this last arc, right? Because Hinata, he said, you know what? I can go to another training arc. This time, learn the ways of beach volleyball instead of normal volleyball.
Really?
So, like, yeah.
Okay.
Like, instead of, like, oh, what was I'm bad with names. Who's the Hinata's rival first?
Tsukishima? The blonde
Yeah,
haired
big
guy?
boy.
Yeah, Tsukishima.
Yeah, right?
Tsukishima.
Oh,
He went
wait,
directly pro.
Wait.
or-
Are you talking about Tsukishima?
No,
or
not
you
the black. No, it was that black hair guy.
Oh, that's Kageyama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Kageyama, went straight to the pros, right? But instead of following Kageyama into the pros, he said, you know what? I'll go to beach volleyball and learn more skills there.
Okay.
And so then, the last arc is him gathering his friends for like one last hurrah, and it's like, oh, I can just see like the emotion that's gonna happen for the watchers here. And I think it's a benefiting end. Like, sure, it's sad that it's ending, but you know what? The journey was good,
Okay, it's sad for me to hear all these spoilers and things, but I do have to address them because if that's the actual end of Haikyuu, I'm actually not very happy about that. Because
Well, there's probably more about than just gathering the boys.
probably, yeah, but like we don't know yet. But
Cause I'm getting it from like the limited manga stuff that has been released so far.
that's true, yeah. But like, because the beginning of the journey starts with him idolizing the little giant. He wants to become great at volleyball. So if the end of the manga isn't him becoming great at volleyball, then I'm gonna be very upset because that's the main goal.
He's still doing it. He's just getting more skills to be better than it. Learn
that is
beach
true.
volleyball.
Yeah, that is true. I just want the manga to end like that because if it doesn't, that'd be sad. It's like a shonen manga because shonen mangas have like that huge main goal. Like if Luffy didn't find the One Piece, like come on, like that would be horrible.
You built up 800 episodes for him not to find the One Piece?
Yeah, that'd be horrible.
No, dude, that's like Omega Brain.
That's
Actually,
a 5-head.
Oh.
That'd be the biggest troll. That'd be so funny. But yeah,
But
you have anything
I will
else?
say, one more a little TLDR. Haikyuu good, final arc sad watching, but hopeful for new stuff.
I know, I'm excited for
Pretty
it.
much
yeah.
it.
I love Haikyuu. But yeah.
That's
we
pretty
can
much
move-
it. Thank
Alright.
you for listening to Sad, Melancholy, and Feelings.
I know. Sad feelings by Isaiah. Alright, last topic, Kalel.
Badcast!
Wow.
So,
What?
what?
What? Okay, last topic, Kalel.
Why you sound so
Last
confused?
Because you always yell that at the very end. We're not finished yet.
We're not end yet.
Yeah,
I'm trying to keep people on their toes, my guy.
that is true. Yes.
My God.
Well, so pretty much what I wanted to talk about was Promised Neverland. Now, I don't know, it was 2019 when the anime came out,
Yeah.
right?
I
It was like
think so.
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I liked the anime a lot because they focus on the first story arc of Promised Neverland, which is the kids, Emma, Norman, and Ray, and a few others. I'll be honest, they're pretty unimportant, so I'm just
Wow.
gonna say Emma, Norman,
Unimportant.
getting out of the Grace Fieldhouse farm that they're in. and that's great and all. And I loved that that arc of the manga a lot, and I actually started reading the manga after the first episode of the anime that I watched because I liked it so much. And that's great and all, except after you get out of the introduction and jailbreak arc and you get into, you know, the forest and the world outside of the farm, it really kind of takes a different tone. So it's kind of like 4D chess while you're inside of the farm. And then while you still have like parts after that where Emma and Ray are being like super big brain on these dumbass demon hoes. It's kind of more like surviving in the wilderness, and like there's a lot more. The characters feel like they can really die at any point in time, but that's not really what I started reading the manga for. And so, honestly, at the most recent arc, which spoilers again, is when they all go to the human world, but Emma's missing. I didn't even read that part because the Return to Gracefield arc, in which they have to fight a war against Peter Rattiri, I believe, is just such a deviation from what I initially started reading the manga from, that I felt that it was a bit disappointing. Not to say that the story is particularly bad. It's just to me it sort of felt like false advertising, but I guess not really. I don't know.
I think what you're feeling is basically how shonens are. Because in the beginning of the shonen, in the beginning of the shonen, there's some ideal or some goal that they have to get to, like the first goal before they get into like the larger world. And this is the first goal of trying to escape the Gracefield house. So there's a lot of mystery and intrigue in the first arc. But with the second arc, now that you know what all the demons look like, you know what the world looks like, they expand upon the worlds more and things. It turns more into like, you know, you're interested more in the world and less about like the mystery and the characters, because the characters are already kind of developed in things, and what you can do now is just develop the world more, I guess. It turns in more like a action show rather than like, you know, a mystery intrigue show. But yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to just bring something up really quickly, and I just think it's kind of interesting how like there's this trope in anime of like people who are really good at chess are just really good at everything.
Because
or like shogi, that's another thing.
It's a strategy thing. It's just it's a way to visually show strategy. That's why they do it. I think.
I see.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, you look at it in real life, and you don't see like chess people like going out there and like doing all this like kind of cool things.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, and then you just say, I have one guy over here. He's like, oh my god, I'm a shogi master, and then I'm just like, okay.
At Code Geass.
Anything now, because you just want to play fucking chess.
Yeah, at Code Geass.
It's 500 IQ. What do you mean?
I know, yeah.
That sucks, man. I'm sad we don't have any chess world champions like starting revolutions in fucking, I don't know, Pittsburgh.
Creating their own nations and everything. Amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they would solve all the problems. We'll probably be in like the Andromeda galaxy by now if they were in charge.
But yeah, I completely agree with what you guys are saying. I really do. I'm looking forward to the next season of Promised Neverland, because I want to see who they kill off next. Because it feels like anyone can get killed off, and I might be dropping a spoiler by saying someone does die. That's all I'm gonna say.
Don't worry, we've gone 3 spoiler warnings so far, so is that another?
More than usual, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, are we gonna do personal picks today?
No,
I don't have any.
Absolutely not.
All right,
Not time for it.
Danganronpa episode 1.
Do you have any personal picks, Kalel?
A what?
A personal pick, so like anything
Azure
that you want to
Lane?
recommend to anyone, like an anime.
You want to recommend?
Yeah, like an anime. Or
Anything.
Okay.
Honestly, just anything.
I think he does want something, right?
Oh, I mean,
Azure Lane?
Anything?
Azure Lane. Destiny Child's a good gacha game.
You're still in that?
Hey, you're still in.
Yeah. Isaiah, you were never like that into it. Yes, it's a good gacha game. It's better than Azure Lane. I'll say it right now. It's better than Azure Lane.
Oh, that's like objectively false. Like, okay.
I will come to your house and fight you on it, but I guess that's not the time for this.
You better
That's
stay
not
at
the
least
time.
6 feet apart then.
Yeah. Fight from 6
I'll bring
feet.
my bow.
I'll bring my bow. I'll bring my crossbow. But yeah, I
Bad
guess. Bad cast.
Alright. Bad cast!
Hello.
Wait, is that how we're gonna end it? We can't end it like that.
That's
But
usually-
anyways, thank you guys for tuning into this month's episode.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Badcast. If you're interested in hearing more of what we got, please do yourself a favor and watch the last couple episodes, or at least the last one. Last one's not that far behind.
Mhm.
If you got any suggestions for things we can feature next on the show, please leave them in the comments down below. Or you could hit us up with a DM, hit us up with an @ in the Wayne State Anime Club server.
Talk us, we don't
I'm
care.
assuming Graham can link in the description.
Yep.
But yeah, see you guys on the next one. Badcast!
Badcast.
Okay.
Kalel.
Hello.
Yeah, I said it.
You didn't say it.
Okay, bad cast.
You gotta yell it. Badcast.
Badcast!
Badcast.
I hate myself.
All right, I'm stopping the recording.